Welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen of the regiment. Today we're going to be talking about the Sisters of Battle. But Lee, I thought you said you'll never do 40k on this channel. Well, it turns out I'm a bit of a liar. My apologies. I saw a post a couple of days ago and it's been rolling around in my head about the Sisters of Battle, and honestly, I just need to talk about it and kind of defend the honor and glory of the Sisters of Battle. It's one of my favorite factions in 40k. It's what actually brought me into the hobby decades ago. Yes, I'm that old. And you know what? I actually painted a few squads of Sister Battle, and they were a joy to paint. But before I continue on, there's some of you who may not have known what 40k is or what the hell a Sister of Battle even is. So let me explain. So, who are the Sisters of Battle in the 40k universe? I'm just going to go through a very quick overview, but it's a very important overview for the faction. Roughly about 400 years ago from the 40k setting, so around the 36th millennium, there was a little dust up. Basically, there was some guy called Van Dyer who went and he married the church and the state together, and we know that that's always a good idea when that happens. And it ended up in a little period of time called the Reign of Blood. Yeah, I didn't see that one coming, right? So the Sisters of Battle at that time were called the Brides of the Emperor, and they were actually his personal bodyguards. Now, one of them, or a few of them, actually got an audience with the Big E at the time, and he basically told them to kill Van Dyer, which one of them did. And thus ended this whole civil war. There was also another guy called Sebastian Thor, but I'm not going to get into that just yet. It's not really particular about this video. So when this Age of Blood, or Reign of Blood rather, ended, they realized that, well, maybe the church and state should be a little bit more separate. And to ensure that the church would never rise again and overtake the main body of the government, they said that the ecclesiarchy cannot hire men or cannot recruit men at all. It cannot have any men under arms. The ecclesiarchy took one look at that and said, okay, and then started recruiting women. The first being the Brides of the Emperor, who then switched their names to the Sisters of Battle, as we know them today. So the female aspect of the Sisters of Battle is very important, because there is a very legal reason why they are females, because the church literally cannot recruit men into their armies. Officially, they can have preachers and other things, but I'm not this. There's a few more loopholes they can do, but they can't have men in tanks or in aircraft or, as ground troops or anything else like that. Now, what's prompted me to, start this video? Well, a few days ago, I saw a picture from Grayskull. It was in a post, and it looks like this. Now, I'm not going to throw shade at Grayskull. They have done fantastic art in the 40k setting. This one is actually one of my favorites. It's a kind of funny where you see the Sister of Battle real and kind of imagined. He does a few other pictures of reimagining kind of the Sisters Battle and even the Sisters Battle as a Tau kind of class. I actually think they're great. However, there seems to be an undercurrent of people who actually believe that the Sisters Battle should look more like the one in the picture instead of the one in the actual faction books, or you see in the artwork, or anywhere else. In fact, some people say that, yeah, the Sisters of Battle, their armor should be completely changed, that the Sisters of Battle are too sexualized for the 40k setting, which is kind of funny considering what else is in the 40k setting that they seemingly don't have a problem with. Yeah, like these ones. However, going back to this picture, they take this picture as if it's supposed to be a blueprint as to what they want the Sisters of Battle should look like or to be. Now, I'll be honest with you, having painted the Sisters of Battle, I would absolutely hate, if the Sisters of Battle turned into something like this. This armor is too bland, too utilitarian, and honestly, it just looks like a less interesting Space Marine. And it doesn't really jive well with the really gothic church look of the Sisters of Battle. I much prefer the classical look. Yes, even with the boob plate, because there is a lore and a legal reason why the power armor has a breast mold bolted into the front, is to tell everybody, hey, this is a female. And even the corset actually isn't a part of the armor. It's actually a cloth that goes around the armor itself. Some people get that wrong. They actually think it's an actual corset. That's actually not correct. There's armor underneath that, by the way. But they kind of want to say, hey, we shouldn't make these too female, or the armor is too feminine. It should be more utilitarian because they are at war fighting. However, this is also the 40K setting where they put a church on legs and bolted two guns on the side, and lo and behold, we have a Titan. No one complains about the Titans. These are the goofiest goddamn things in existence, if you actually think about it for 30 seconds. But they're also the coolest thing, and God bless them. We also see what happens when the Sisters of Battle kind of lose their touch, or lose that kind of classic Gothic church look that they have. For example, the Sister of Repentia. The Sister of Repentia used to look like this, and now looks like this. I've always had a problem with this, because the Sister of Repentia are a group of sisters that are supposed to die for their repentance. Whether they committed a sin that was real or imagined, they can volunteer to be this. They want to die for the Emperor to redeem themselves, to redeem their souls. So have them look kind of like this makes them a bit too clean. They should actually look more like flagellants, like these people, to really hone into the fact that these are highly, highly religious women who believe that, yes, that they serve the God Emperor, and the God Emperor will talk to them and grant them powers, because he actually does. This is how we get living saints. No Space Marine, as far as I'm aware, has become a living saint yet. And we also seen what happens when this kind of utilitarian washing of the faction of the flavor happens to another faction with the League of Voltan. Now, the League of Voltan used to be known as squats, which looked like this. They got this is actually the first. I believe this is actually the very first faction that GW killed. And for decades, you couldn't actually collect any squat miniatures, and there was no rules for them until they brought them back rather recently, in the last couple of years, as the League of Voltan. And as you can see, the League of Voltan just kind of look like squat Space Marines. They actually look like a cross between a Space Marine in 40K and a Terran Space Marine from StarCraft. It's like if the armor kind of like melded together, and you would have this, and you shrunk it down. And I'll be honest with you, they don't look that interesting. They really just don't look that interesting to me. It loses a lot of flavor. They just look like Space Marines. It's like this another 32 mil model to edge highlight. Don't get me wrong. My other army that I actually collect, my main army isn't 40K, although I do have 2 squads and a canoness. My main army is actually the Stormcast Eternals from the Age of Sigmar setting. And the Stormcast Eternals look like this. Now, they also have gendered armor. A male looks like this, and a female looks like this. And as you can see on the female, the chest area is slightly different. The male is like completely flat, like more like pecs, and the female more looks like almost like an uni boob, but it's not as like overtly boobish, for lack of a better term. Although, more importantly, all of them have abs. This is actually very important. The males and females have abs on their armor, and I adore it. It's really fun to throw a wash in there. And I don't actually mind painting the Stormcast Eternal, because honestly, they just kind of look cool as it is. But that being said, I wouldn't want a Sister of Battle to look like a Stormcast Eternal. Nor would I want a Sister of Battle to look more like a Space Marine, or a Knight, or anything else other than a Sister of Battle. For decades, they had this really unique look to them. And to do away with them just because people think that it might be slightly too sexual because the power armor has a bit of boob to it, and it, a slight corset to give it a little more of an hourglass figure is just, I'll be honest with you, it's bloody stupid. But a lot of people will fight to the death over this kind of reason that, yeah, the Sisters Battle should look slightly desexualized, which I don't like it. And I'll be honest with you, I don't even consider that power armor too sexual. It's just boob plate at the end of the day. It's not like you're seeing cleavage. Like in the Witch Elves, like in Slaanesh, like in any other thing, like... When you talk about over-sexualized miniatures in the 40k setting, I don't think of the Sisters of Battle. They are pretty low on the list, to be completely honest with you. So, anyways, I hope you kind of understand where I'm coming from when it comes to the Sisters of Battle and my love for them and their aesthetic. Because, goddamn, their aesthetic just looks so cool. Like, I remember picking up, I believe it was the 3rd edition. They were called Witch Hunters, not the Sisters of Battle. They're called Witch Hunters then. And just seeing the drop-dead gorgeous artwork of these just badass women, it just was fantastic. And if the Sisters of Battle ever lost that, it would be a damn shame. GW would just be... It would be one of the most stupid decisions GW has ever done. And they have done a lot, and I do mean a lot of stupid decisions. Just look at the end times. Anyways, that's it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And yeah, you guys have a good one. But always remember, Panzer IV.